So we're here today. We're going to speak to a few people that's been living a lifestyle. We're going to give us some nuggets and on how we can put together our exit strategy after work. And I know all of you guys here look pretty intelligent. Everybody here has a plan on when they decide to change how they earn income. Well, you're in the right place today. Hopefully you'll learn something that's going to add to that what you already know. So who's going to present to us today is going to be Amanda Williams. She is from Raleigh, North Carolina. She came and moved she's bi-coastal. Now she lives, not bipolar, but bi-coastal. She lives on the East Coast and on the West Coast. And she came out to help a group of agents to live their best life. But before we hear from Amanda, we're going to hear from George. George is the owner of the company called PHP, People Helping People. And he's an awesome entrepreneur, a strong man of integrity, and I got a chance to meet him, and it was a pleasure, and I look forward to getting to know him better. So he's going to come up and tell us a little bit more about his company, because we have decided to partner with him. No, he's decided to partner with us. No, we decided to partner with each other and to be a dynamic force in the Valley.
Awesome.
Welcome, George.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll keep it really short because I know you guys got a million things to do. There's never enough time to do everything that we have to do in a day. So I got introduced to the financial industry. I used to be a server at a restaurant. They had really good biscuits. Anybody want to take a guess where? Red Lobster, yes. Right? People say Popeyes or Red Lobster or Church's Chicken. Like, you get a bunch these days. But I was a server, and I was going to college. One day, my neighbor leaves for 90 days, and when he came back, I said, "Where'd you go?" He says, "Vacation." I said, "How do you take 90 days of the year off? Because wherever you work, I'd love to go get a job there." And he says, "I sell real estate. I don't have a job." He says, "I have a business back home in Lebanon, and I have a business here that does real estate." And I said, "Well, what kind of money does real estate?" I was 17 at the time. And I said, "What kind of money can you make in real estate?" He says, "I make around $30,000. And I said, "That's what I make." He says, "No, I make that per month." And I was like, "Oh, I make that per year." Big difference, right? And that's when I got my real estate license, and I got into selling real estate for Keller Williams in Palmdale, California. That's where I grew up. And at that time, a good friend of mine said, "Hey, you're probably going to have some clients that have some debt. You're probably going to have some clients after they buy, they want to protect their house, and maybe some people that have some extra money, they need to manage it. Why don't you refer that over to me? Why don't we have a partnership, kind of like a lender and a realtor, or title and escrow?" And he says, you should incorporate financial services into your practice. And at that time, I said, "Yeah, that makes sense." I was 18. I had just got my real estate license, got my insurance license, and my first client was my mom. Help my mom. Nobody looks at their mom as like, "I'm going to make commission on my mom." And it was like, "Mom, this is what I'm doing. Do you and Dad have something?" And she said, "No, we don't, but we need something, and we obviously trust you, so can you give us a plan?" So we did a little policy, life policy, and most of us know life insurance pays when people pass away. And so I came back, we qualified for this little trip, we come back, I take my grandmother, she was 78 at the time, and we come back, my dad says, "I got to talk to you." I said, "What's up? What's wrong, Pop?" And he says, "Your mom went to the doctor, she's got cancer in one of her breasts." The next week we went and did another MRI, cancer was in both breasts, it was already spreading. And that was my first client, you guys, was my mom, and we went through battling cancer together, and she did a double mastectomy and replacement surgery, and that didn't take, so then they had to do expansion therapy and all kinds of stuff. And when you go through cancer, somebody that's experienced cancer, when you go through cancer, it may be a simple surgery, but the process to recovery is really where that's at. And not everybody makes it. Thank God my mom did. But I remember the day where her employer called her, and she had done retail her whole life for a small little company called Got Shops in Palmdale. It's kind of like Macy's. And they said, "Hey, you have to come back to work or we're going to fire you. And you've used all your paid time off, you've used your unpaid time off." And my mom says, I can't because I have the health insurance to you guys and I'm going through chemo. And they said, "That's not our problem." And they were right, that wasn't their problem, that was my problem. That I wasn't in a position financially where I can afford a COBRA payment of $1,500 a month. And we had to shave my mom's hair, she had a little bit of hair left, and she had to get a wig, she had to go back to work. And I promised her that day, I said, "I'm going to become financially independent and you're never going to have to work again." And that's when I became a broker. I was 21 years old and made six figures, and my life changed. But it was in a breakdown, and Pastor Stephen Furtick he runs a church in North Carolina called Elevation Church. He said, sometimes in your breakdown, you can have a breakthrough. And I know everybody in this room, you've been through some stuff in your life where it's really challenged you. And as much as we don't like it, Jordan Peterson says, don't look for happiness, right? Because you don't necessarily grow when happiness is there. He says the moments in life that are the most difficult actually give you the most growth in terms of your character. And that was a moment where my life changed. And I realized this, we weren't free. we weren't free financially. And what you guys do as realtors and different businesses, you try to help people live their best life, live their dream, get into a house, build some wealth. And that's what we do here as an insurance brokerage. We specialize in 3 things: helping people get out of credit card, student loan debt. We have a law firm that we do that with. The second thing we do is life insurance. Our life insurance, what I love about it today, didn't exist when my mom got her policy, is living benefits. Living benefits means if you have a chronic illness, a critical illness like cancer, heart attack, stroke, anything like that, or a critical injury, then you can advance that $100,000, $300,000, $500,000 upfront tax-free income to you today. And for me to be able to have access to $500,000, we've all saved money in this room. You know how long it takes to save $500,000, and it takes a long time. And for somebody to be able to have that for a very small premium, whether it be term or perm, whatever they need to have access to that, if they get sick or they get hurt, that's a big thing for me, because it's not if we're going to pass away, it's when. But also, most people aren't concerned so much about passing away down the road. It's what if I get sick? What if I get hurt? What if I get disabled? People don't have savings like that to cover. My mom didn't. That's why she had to go back to work. And so we really try to help, especially as an entrepreneur. We don't have the traditional 401ks and long-term care policies and all these extra things that employers offer their employees. We kind of have to do it for ourselves. And so I'm a really big fan of that aspect. And then the last aspect is helping people identify their FIN number. It stands for Financial Independence Number. If you had $100 and you had to make it last for 20 years, you can live off of $5 per year. 100 divided by 20 is $5 a year if you're 60 years old. So the rule of thumb is 5% of whatever you have lump sum can you pull out. And so if I have $100,000 in savings, 5% of that is $5,000 a year, around $400 per month, $100 per week. So every $100,000 in a traditional savings plan, 401k, IRA, annuity, every $100,000 will provide around $100 of income per week. And nobody in this room can live on $100 per week. The majority of people today don't have a pension, don't have Social Security. The only thing they have is personal savings. And that's gone down every single year since 1970. People don't save anymore as much as they used to. People don't plan as much as they used to. So when we sit down with people and we show them how much they're going to need to have, it's not if they're going to get there, it's how they're going to get there. And then we start to say, what do we need to do different? And that's what I believe in. I believe in protecting people, because stuff happens that we don't plan on in our life. And last Thursday, I'll finish with this story. Last Thursday, we were celebrating my niece's birthday. We had just rode some horses out towards like Pasadena area. We're having dinner at True Food Kitchen, and my mom, out of nowhere, says, "My face is cold." And she says, and I'm like, "What did you say?" And she says, I said, "Mom, are you okay?" And she lost her ability to speak. She had a mini stroke. They call it a TIA. From one second to the next, you guys, we're riding horses. Niece's birthday, 9 years old, family dinner, most perfect moment. Those memories you capture, like, what a great night, we're all celebrating. And like this, she's in an ambulance. But this time it was different because of being a business owner, because of being an entrepreneur, because of doing it right, because of passive income, what Amanda's going to talk about. She doesn't have to ever work today. She's financially independent because we retired a long time ago. We can be at the hospital as much as we need. And I think that's really important, because it's not if that's going to happen. One day, if it doesn't happen to us, it's going to happen to somebody who we love. And to be able to be there for them at that moment is probably the most important thing as a human, to be there for the people you love at the hardest times in their life. So we love to protect people. I'd love to get to know you guys. Anything I can do to help. I love working with these guys, and we're just starting this partnership because it's all just bringing value to people. So before you guys leave, I'll give you my card, get your card. I'd love to know more about what you guys do as well. But you'll learn a lot today, and thank you guys for coming. If you guys ever need an office or something like that that's open, we do trainings here a couple days out of the week, but the majority of the time the space is open, and we'd love to support your process any way we can as well. So, yep, it's always open to you guys, no cost in any of that stuff, okay? Thank you so much. Am I bringing you back up, or am I bringing up the traveling? Okay, all right. She's way better of a speaker than me, so you'll enjoy that a lot more.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
all.
man.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to have Amanda come up. And Amanda is a person that I've met just recently, but it seems like I've been knowing her for such a long time. And her fiance, her husband, Big Country. His name is Alex, and this is my first day ever calling him Big Country. I heard Daniel Penley giving him this name very affectionately. When he said the name, I looked around and said, "Now, who is this?" And I realized he was speaking about Alex, and I asked for permission to call him Big Country, and he said it was okay. Big Country from now on. but they're from Raleigh, North Carolina, as I mentioned, and they're very successful in the area of doing Airbnbs and investing, and she's called Amanda the Traveling Realtor. I'd say I need to steal that because I want to be a traveling realtor also. But when you have financial freedom, when you reach that freedom point, you can travel as much as you want, do the things you want, because you're not worrying about the day-to-day things that you need to do. So as we hear from her about strategizing on passive income, take a nugget away today. Don't leave here empty with the same thing you came in with, because we all can add to our plan. Let's hear from Amanda, my friend.
Thank you, Kelvin. Awesome. I just love working with Kelvin and the team out here. I think everyone is just, they're the people, the quality of the people that I have met in the 6 weeks that we've been in LA has been unbelievable. So I just thank you guys for all of that. So a little about me. As Kelvin said, I am known as the traveling realtor, and that's pretty much all we're doing at this point in our life. We are Airbnb hosts. We have 12 Airbnb properties back in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I own A.G. Williams Realty. I partnered with eXp Realty about 2.5 years ago, which I'm going to talk a little bit about that with you today. We are investors, real estate coaches, business coaches, and world travelers. So we've been to now 43 countries and counting. There's still a lot of countries to go to. So my why I'm going to share with you. And the reason is because I believe every single person has to have a why. And sometimes we don't really know what that why is until something dramatic happens, something tragic happens. And it was last summer, and I was at the closing table, closing on another property. We actually flipped houses back in North Carolina. We had rental properties, all of that. And we were closing on another house that we were going to be flipping when I got a phone call from my mom. And my mom was very upset. And she said, Amanda, I need you here, and I need you here right now. She proceeded to tell me that my dad had cancer, and it was a very fast-growing tumor, and we needed to start chemo right away. So I don't know about you, but have you ever had that phone call or something happen in your life where it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life, everything just stops? When I got that phone call, everything started going through my mind. No, like, I'm busy. I've got to close this house. I've got contractors that are starting on this project tomorrow. I'm a real estate agent. I own a brokerage. Like, I have all of this going on. This is not the perfect timing for my dad to have cancer. So all of this is going through my mind. And the reality was, thank God, we had set our life up to have passive income. Because at that point, we made a decision to take my dad to Mexico for treatment. And we left a couple of weeks after that happened. And we spent the summer in Mexico. And so that's how we fell into our Airbnb properties. We had 15 long-term rental properties, so we did have cash passive income coming in whenever we went to Mexico. But we stumbled upon Airbnb while we were in Mexico. So this is our home in North Carolina. I'm sorry, LA. We paid $1,500 a month for our mortgage payment on this property. It's on over an acre of land. It's 3 stories. It's an amazing house. So we rented that for the first month that we were there. It only rented for 14 days. And we brought in over $2,200. So that paid for our mortgage payment on our personal home, plus it paid for our apartment on the beach in Mexico for a month. And so we look at each other and we're like, I think we're up to something, right? So we put our heads together and we said, all right, we've got to start creating more passive income. So as we were there, we actually bought another property while we were there, and then we ended up turning that property that we were closing on into an Airbnb instead of flipping it. And so I'm going to talk to you really about 3 of the passive income strategies that we use today. But my first question to you is, why do you want passive income? Is it because you're scared of something happening? You're scared of getting that phone call? Or is it because you want to live that lifestyle of being able to sleep until you want to sleep, wake up when you want to wake up, do what you want to do when you want to do it? Like, what is your why? Do you have kids that you want to go to all of their baseball games? Do you have aging parents that you need to take some time off and go take care of? So we all have different whys, right? So I want you to think about that. Do you just want less stress? Gosh, real estate agents, we have like the highest stressful job in the world, I think, my opinion. But I really do, because you're living a chaotic lifestyle. Oh my gosh, I did it for years. I understand 100% what that lifestyle is like. And sometimes you just need to be able to take a vacation without the travel gods harassing you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying the travel gods are bad, because if you ever get slow in business, just book a trip out of the country and you're going to get clients flooding to you. That's the travel gods, right? So all of us want something different for our life. So the three things I'm talking about is long-term rentals, Airbnb rentals, and then revenue share through EXP. So the first thing is long-term rentals. Like I said, we had 15 long-term rental properties. Thank God, because we would have never been able to take Dad to Mexico if we did not have those properties generating that passive income. But the way that we purchased all of those properties, when I first moved back to North Carolina, I lived here. I'm from North Carolina. I moved out here. I spent 9 amazing years in the South Bay here. Loved every minute of it. Dad got sick. A few other things happened. I had to move back to North Carolina for a while. And I only had one rental property when I went back there. And it was actually my grandmother's house that I had bought from the family, and I was just renting it out because it's on a big parcel of land that we own there. And so we got back, and Alex and I got back together, and we were flipping houses, and I had my real estate brokerage at the time, and everything was going great, but we were really busy. And we decided in 2015 that we needed more passive income. And so we started buying rental properties, but we didn't buy rental properties the normal way you buy a rental property, by going to the bank and getting a loan. We actually started buying them with owner financing terms. So we would locate a property. A lot of them came off of Craigslist. Some came from wholesalers, which are people who go get the property under contract, and then they sell you the contract, but there's still enough room in that deal that you're happy and they're happy and everyone makes money. It's a win-win. So we found 9 properties in 2015. We did owner finance terms on all of them. Is everyone familiar with what owner finance terms are? Yeah. Okay, so for those of you that are not, we went to the homeowner and we said, hey, you've got this paid off property. We're very interested in it. We're going to give you 3 offers, and you can pick and choose which one you want to go with. So the first one is going to be a low cash offer, because all of these properties needed a little work. So low cash offer. The second offer was a high down payment and a low monthly payment. And then the third offer was a low down payment and a high monthly payment. Now, which one do you think I wanted them to choose? Exactly, yes. I want to get in for the least amount of money that I possibly can. But guess what? None of them chose that option. They all chose the high down payment and the low monthly payment option, which was great. However, it took a lot of our cash up front to be able to get into all of those properties. Even though we were cash flowing a lot on the back end, because our down payments were really low, our monthly payments were really low, we put a lot of money into those properties. So with the BRRRR method, it's you're buying the property, you're renovating the property, you're renting the property, and then you go refinance the property. Because then after you get the property worth a certain amount, market value, you can go to the bank and you can pull that money out. It's called a cash out refi. On the same page?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's how we got so many properties in 1 year. Some other ways that I recommend getting properties is bank-owned properties, the foreclosures, the pre-foreclosures. You can find them on Zillow, notice of default, stuff like that. If you're interested in any of that type of investment strategy, we're here. I can talk to you. I'm blue in the face about it. And then also the expired listings and foreclosures. So that is our long-term rentals, kind of what we did with it. You can expect to make between $200 and $500 per month in cash flow, and I'm talking North Carolina numbers here. North Carolina numbers. This is on like a property that you're going to spend about $200,000 on purchasing. So you're going to cash flow between $200 and $500 per month on a long-term rental. That probably doesn't excite you very much. Short-term rentals, you're going to make double that. So short-term rentals are Airbnbs. Now, we have our Airbnb portfolio in Raleigh, North Carolina. There's not as many rules and regulations in Raleigh, North Carolina as there is here in Los Angeles. You guys are dealing with a lot of new regulations coming out. I know there's some people in the room that already do Airbnb, so if you're interested in doing it here, I'm going to point you to their direction because they know a lot more about the rules and regs for this area. So what I'm sharing with you are our numbers for North Carolina right now. We actually have investors here that are investing with us in North Carolina, renting the properties to us, and then we're running the Airbnb business out of those properties in North Carolina, so it's super cool. So you do not have to own the property, you just have to control the property. Now, what does that mean? I'm not suggesting you to go out and purchase a property and run an Airbnb out of it. What we've been doing is we've actually been going in and renting the property, and then we turn that into an Airbnb. So we're essentially subleasing. I think you guys have another word for it out here.
Master leasing.
Master leasing, yes. You guys call it master leasing in California. So you don't have to own the property. You just have to control the property. Location is key. Distance to popular destinations. You guys actually are a destination city. Raleigh, North Carolina is not. People come to Raleigh because they have a new job there or they have family there, which works out very well for us because we can market correctly to them for people who are relocating to the area. So it's bringing in new buyers, which our team is then selling them houses. So again, it's a win-win for everyone involved. Just making sure, it's clean, it's updated. I teach a whole course on Airbnb. It's an 8-week course, so I'm not going to get into all of that today. But it's just all about making your guests feel welcome. And you can make a good amount of money with Airbnb. You can make $500 to $1,000 profit every single month on each property that you have. So Alex and I have 12 properties. We're averaging about $1,000 per property per month right now. So that's not too shabby, right? Mm-hmm. So the next thing is the revenue share. Now, revenue share is something that we had our eyes opened up to about 2.5 years ago. And I owned my own real estate firm. Everything was fabulous. Had 100% of everything that I did, right? Well, we affiliated with eXp Realty. And the reason why we did that is because instead of me making 100% of everything that I do, I now have the ability to come to LA to build a real estate team. I have agents in Ohio, in Florida, in New Jersey. Agents everywhere, in Tennessee, out selling houses, and we're able to make a percentage of every house sold until they cap out, which the light bulb went off for me, all right? And it's going to go off for you too. So the way a revenue share model works is if I refer an agent to eXp Realty and they go sell a home for a $500,000 home at a 3% commission, that's $15,000 in total commission paid on that property. So eXp is going to pay me 3.5% of that total $15,000 commission check. So I will get a check the following month for $525. I know as soon as it closes that I will be getting paid $525. It's called a revenue share check from the company on the following month. When that started happening, our eyes opened because we said, wait a second. You mean to tell me I can invest 10 to 20% down to purchase more long-term rental properties to then get an income of around $200 per property? If I did that for 5 properties, that's going to bring me $1,000 a month in mailbox money, passive income. It's okay, I'm going to get all the tax write-offs and depreciation and all that, which is very beneficial for someone when you own a lot of long-term rental properties. But when you look at the Airbnb model, it cost us on average about $10,000 to get a property up and going. And that includes the down payment, the security deposit, we're talking Airbnbs, the security deposit, the first month rent, and then the furnishings for the property. Because with Airbnbs, they're short-term rentals. You want your guests to be able to come into the property and feel homey and have a full kitchen, and everything is just perfect, right? So it's costing us about $10,000. So with that being said, 10,000 times 5, I'm still going to invest $50,000 into my 5 Airbnb properties, but that's going to create, if it was $500 per home, that'll create about $2,500 a month in passive income. Now that's a much better number. It could be more than that, by the way. Depends on how you're running your Airbnb property. But still, you're putting in $50,000, all right? The next option is the revenue share option. I can refer 5 agents to eXp Realty to hang their license with eXp, run their business with eXp. It doesn't cost me $1 out of my pocket, and I'm not liable for any of their actions, by the way. Not $1. The company will pay me up to $2,800 per year on every single one of these agents. So that's going to create an $1,100 a month passive income check. And what's so important about that?
It happens every year.
It happens every year. But with long-term rentals, I'm having to deal with my tenants not telling me that the roof is leaking and all of a sudden I have the ceiling coming down. They're not telling me that they're sneaking in dogs. They're not telling me that they're not taking care of my house. I mean, I've got termites, I've got this, I've got water leaks, I've got the kitchen sink's been dripping for a year, but you haven't told me. Now it's rotted out my entire kitchen cabinet. Oh, and by the way, my floor and subfloor is rotted too. That's what you're dealing with when you have long-term rental properties. Now with the Airbnb properties, they're not as bad because you don't own them. So if you have an HVAC go out or if you have a roof blow off or something, that's the landlord's responsibility. However, you are still responsible for any of the smaller items that's going on. You're having to have a larger insurance policy. You're having to deal with all the messages in the middle of the night. We just had a message the other night, someone complaining, I checked in, there's not enough mixing bowls and there's not enough place settings. I'm like, so you're having Thanksgiving dinner at our property. Okay, it says no gatherings and no parties here. How are we going to handle that? Well, we have a Ring doorbell, so we're going to charge extra for every guest that's over there if they're having a party. So just little things like that. But with this, I'm not getting calls at all. And so I'm not having to deal with any of that. And I'm just going to jump in and share exactly why that is so important to me. So my biggest mission in life is to help and inspire 10,000 real estate agents to live a passive income lifestyle. And my numbers are, if I can inspire 10,000 real estate agents to create a passive income stream of $10,000 per month, how many lives, how many families will that change their lives? I think $10,000 a month in passive income is a really good number. I think that you could pay some of your bills on $10,000. I know I couldn't pay all of my bills on that, but I could pay a large portion of them, right? Maybe just our rent in Santa Monica. So my question is, how many people do you want to help, right? So I'm jumping right into what eXp is. In order to have a company like this that really opened our eyes to go from owning our own brokerage 100%, you have to have a disruptor in the marketplace. And when we saw this model, the first thing that came to my mind was, this is like being with KW when KW wasn't cool, when there was only like 20,000 agents with Keller Williams. So when we first joined eXp 2.5 years ago, there were 3,000 real estate agents in the company. The stock was $2.42. We just crossed over 24,000 agents in the company. And I honestly don't even know what the stock is. I think it's around $9 right now. It's EXPI. We're traded on the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange. So when you look at this, we are being called the Amazon of real estate. We went to an event the other night with the local real estate investment club, and the guy talking actually had us up there on his presentation as a disruptor in the industry. And I thought that was super cool. I'm like, yes, we are disrupting the industry. Just like all of these companies disrupted their industries. Netflix took out Blockbuster. Amazon's taken out Circuit City. Not just Circuit City, like all the big boxes. I mean, we listened to Ty Lopez, and Ty just bought out all of the dress barns. He's taken all of that to online. There will be no more dress barns.
Stock went up. It's $10.46.
We made money today. Awesome. So EXP is doing the same thing to all of the brick and mortar locations, the Remaxes, the KWs, any brokerage out there that has a brick and mortar office building. So the way that's happening is because EXP is not a franchise model. It is one brokerage in all 50 states, also in Canada, the UK, and now Australia. And we are sneaking into Asia next year. So that's going to be super exciting. And the reason why it's doing so well right now is because with the typical franchise model, you have your franchise fees, you have your office fees, you have everything that comes with having a brick and mortar building. I mean, I can't even imagine what the rent is on this building. I have no clue. I can tell you it's probably a lot of money, and they're having to do a lot of business out of this. And so you're locally confined when you own a franchise. You're stuck right there in that marketplace. You also, it's very inconsistent. So think about this. Up until now, you're a real estate agent. You go out, you get your license. You hang your license with a broker for the first 2 years because you have to. And you're doing really well. You start selling a bunch of houses, and then you're like, gosh, I need help. I need help. So then you go and you hire a team. So you hire a buyer's agent, maybe you hire a listing agent. Well, now you're running your team, which is doing really well under this franchise model. So you're paying the franchise all of these fees. All of you are paying them also splits because that's how they run. So you get to a point in life where you're like, I am paying so much money into this brokerage that I'm really not getting a lot from. I'm running my own business here. I have two options. I can go and I can buy a franchise, which I have to get outside of my local market because it's a franchise and you can't have a franchise on each corner of the street, right? The same market. So I could either go buy a franchise in a brand new market, or I could go start my own real estate firm, my own boutique brokerage. And it's going to cost me a lot of money. And by the way, that franchise was $100,000, $200,000. Me starting my own brokerage is going to cost a lot too. It's not going to cost you that much, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. That was the options until this point. EXP has brought another option to us. EXP has said, hey, look, you can come partner with us. You can affiliate with us. We're going to take over all of your overhead. We're going to take care of all the liability. We're going to take care of the accounting. We're going to give you all of the tools and systems that you need to run your brokerage. And guess how much we're going to charge you? $149 to set you up as a business. $149. So that has never happened before. And that is why EXP is disrupting this entire real estate model. So we don't have an office. Our office is in the cloud, okay? We show up to work as avatars. I know that sounds crazy, but we do. We have over 400 employees that work in our cloud office. And there's no brick and mortar. You can literally work from anywhere. As Kelvin likes to say, you can work from the mountaintop. And you can. I was hiking a mountain the other day in the Santa Monica Mountains. I got to the top. I said, if I had my computer, I could work from up here, because that's what Kelvin told me. I love it. So we're saving so much money as real estate agents because we don't have to deal with going into an office and paying all those office fees. We're also 100% paperless, by the way. So this is our office. We have tons of different meeting rooms, and we have tech support, accounting, payroll processing. I mean, every department that you can think of. Literally, it's like walking into an office in a brick and mortar building and sitting and having a conversation just like this with them. And so we can show you more about that. We have all types of training and everything in the cloud as well. So this is our training. It says 20 hours up here. That is not true. It's more like 30 to 40 hours a week of live training. And the training is about, everything. It's our systems, our tools. You can get training on all of that. But more importantly, what's the biggest thing you need to learn right now in real estate? How to make sales? What else?
Lead generation.
Lead gen. How about social media and video?
Yeah.
That is the way of the future. You can learn all of that, by the way. in our trainings. But most importantly, we have some of the best cutting edge training on video, YouTube, social media, all of that, setting up all of your accounts, using your KV Core. I mean, there's a lot to it. So if you can't make the live sessions, you can also tap into the recorded sessions as well on our workplace, which is kind of like a Facebook that they built for us. CRM and lead gen. So we use KV Core. KV Core is a lead gen CRM platform that it all works together. So you can literally go into your KV Core account and you can create squeeze pages like we did for Zach the other day. We went and created a squeeze page of all of the open houses for this, it was last weekend, and it was all the open houses with ocean view.
Yeah, Malibu.
In Malibu.
Yeah.
Did you get any clicks off that? You got a couple? Okay, so what people did was they said, oh, that sounds cool. So they clicked on it, and then it sent them to his website. His website then collected all of their data. So now they're in an automatic drip campaign from Zach, which he just signed them up, that's it. So now they're getting texts and emails, and then all of a sudden, now those are going to take some time, but you need to reach out to them as well. I don't know if you've been calling them, but you need to reach out to them. So, but they're still in your automatic drip campaign. So they're still going to be touched by you, even though you're still calling them. They're getting their emails and texts and all that. So I think that's really cool to have that type of system. If you had to pay for this on your own, then it would be $1,000 to set up and $500 per month just to keep it going. So you get this for free, by the way, with us. And equity. This is very, very, very important. I don't really know of any other brokerage that gives you ownership in their firm. And we are a NASDAQ traded company. I mean, we are on the stock exchange. So our company gives you stock two different ways. The first is an equity award. So these are awards that the company is just giving you for doing things that you do already, like selling houses, referring an agent to the company when they sell their first house, then you get stock. Whenever you sell your first house every single year, you get stock. When you cap, you get stock. Our cap, by the way, is $16,000. You're never going to pay over that per year. You go to 100% commission. So that's the equity awards. The second one is the Icon Agent Award. So if you're an agent that's selling a lot of houses, in North Carolina, if you're selling about 35 houses a year, then you'd be considered an Icon Agent. If you're here in California, I mean, you guys could hit it pretty quickly, depending on what price point you're selling. So with the Icon Agent, once you cap out at the $16,000, once you sell either 10 more houses or 20 more houses, again, depending on the price point of your properties, then that can make you become an Icon Agent. And an Icon Agent gets back that entire $16,000 of stock. And it's given back two different ways. So the first way is $12,000 of that is given to you as an equity award. All right? An equity award is held for 3 years. There's a 3-year vesting period because that is another way that the company wants you to save for retirement. That's our retirement fund. There's no other company out there that's going to give you a retirement account. So that's the equity awards. It's brilliant. The $4,000 of the $16,000 is given to you in two different times. So we have two big events every single year. We have the EXP convention and we have the shareholders meeting. So the company gives you $2,000 worth of stock that can be cashed out, by the way, after you attend those two meetings, events, amazingness. They're not meetings. They're just like fun time party the whole week. So that's the second way that you get your stock. The third way is whenever you sell a property, then you can elect EXP to keep 5% of your total commission to buy company stock at a 20% discount. That is huge. That's like if you worked for a company that had an IRA plan where if you invest a certain amount, then they'll match you on that IRA or that 401k. So it's the same thing. EXP's goal is for the agents to have retirement because most agents do not have retirement. Most agents do not save. So they give a lot of incentives to get agents to purchase more properties, long-term rental properties, any type of investment-wise with your IRA, with whatever that is. So that's the equity award part of the program. Do y'all have any questions about that? All right, let's roll. So this is now my favorite part of the presentation. So this is, EXP does not hire recruiters. Every other real estate brokerage out there hires a recruiter. Corporate pays that person a salary, they bust out the phones, they send you tons of letters in the mail when you get your real estate license, and you're being recruited, okay? EXP put that opportunity into all of the agents' hands that are an EXP agent. And they said, look, if you want to go out and you want to build your brokerage within the brokerage, then you can do that. And we're going to pay you for that. So we're going to pay you in referral fees, which we're calling revenue share. So if you go out and you refer an agent to the company, we're going to pay you 3.5% of any deal that agent closes up until they cap out. Once they cap out at $16,000 and you've made $2,800, then there's no more money to be made that year. They're 100% commission. Does that make sense? So anyone that you personally attract to the company, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid up to $2,800 on that person. If you attract 5 agents to the company, just 5, then that's going to open your second tier here. And your second tier means that any of those agents that you've personally referred to the company, if they refer an agent to the company, then the company is going to pay you 4%, which is $3,200 on anyone on your second tier. I think that's genius because it makes the person that is above you, right? It makes that person want to help you build your team because you're incentivized. You know, money's a good incentivizer. So you're actually making $3,200. There's no limit as to how many agents can be in these levels. The only thing is, in order to break open all 7 levels here, you have to have 40 agents that you have personally referred to the company. 40, that's it. Now, most people get around this area right here, and they get busy building their teams organizations. That's exactly where I am right now. I've got 19 agents on my front line, and so I'm stuck. I'm stuck right here. So I need 20 to get to my 5th tier, right? But I'm not worried about that. I'm doing just fine the way that we're doing this, and I get the most joy in seeing you guys building your teams. I mean, Kelvin, how many agents do you have on your team now? 3 agents. Beverly?
Getting their license, 1, and then 1 on.
Yeah, so you've got 2 already. Mike's got
a couple coming.
Yes, exactly. And then okay, that's Kelvin's family here. And then you guys.
Oh, I didn't count Urban. I mean, 2 more coming.
2 more coming. There you go. We got a lot of people getting licensed right now. We are rolling here, and they've got some agents coming on board as well, and it's rocking and rolling. So I'm super proud of you guys, and building your teams is what I'm here for. So do those 3-way calls. Let's do it. So that's the tier structure here. And you can make a lot of money with that if you really put your head down and do it. Not a lot of agents do it, to tell you the truth. Only about 5% of the agents in EXP has attracted more than 2 agents. It's a very low number. Most of the agents really love the structure of the company. They love this, which is what I'm going to talk about. And they love the ownership. They love being able to have ownership and stock in the company and that retirement plan. And if an agent comes around and says, hey, what are you doing? Then, yeah, they can just refer them over, and then they'll make money that way. But only 5% of the agents in EXP are actually working the revenue share and building this out to be really huge. So that's a big opportunity for us that want to build it that way. You know? So this is the bones of the company. EXP is on an 80-20 split, meaning you get 80% of the commission. EXP keeps 20% of the commission until that 20% equals $16,000. That is your cap. Once you're capped out, then you go to 100% commission, and no one else is making money on you for the remainder of the year. And so you're 100% commission. So It's $149 to start. There's 2 monthly fees. There is a $50 tech fee, and there's a $35 university fee. The tech fee is going to include your KV Core, your CRM lead generation system, your electronic signature, your online transaction management program, a lot of other systems and tools that we give you when you come on board. And then the $35 is the university fee. That's paying for all of the live training, the staff, the support. Like I said, we have 400 and something employees that work in the office. So the support is bar none. I mean, you're used to going and calling your broker in charge or texting your broker in charge or driving to the office and going to meet. No, you literally get in your avatar and you walk into the office in the cloud from home, by the way, and you can get your answers in 5 minutes or less. And it's instant. If you just use the system, right? There's multiple ways to contact your broker in charge, but that's the best way to contact them. Now, per transaction, I'm going to talk about that for a minute because this is important. When you are a newer agent with us, not new as in a new agent in general, but a new agent to EXP, you're on the 80-20 split. So 80% you, 20% EXP. There are 2 per transaction fees that come with that. It's a $25 broker review fee because we got to make sure that all of your files are correct to make sure no one goes to real estate jail in case anything bad were to happen. So we make sure that you're good. So at any point in time, if you ever got audited or anything ever came up with the commission, you're covered. That's important, by the way. That's worth well over $25. And then there's a $40 risk management fee. This is your E&O insurance. And that caps out at $500 for the year. You're never going to pay more than $500 in your E&O insurance. And it's a per transaction basis. So that is until you cap out. So now you're capped out. You're making 100% commission with the firm. There's only one fee, and it's a per transaction fee, and it's $250. And you're going to pay that $250 for the next, let's just say 20 deals, unless you have a very high average, like 1.6 million per home, which is doable out here. I know Bev just got a what's that listing? $1.8 million listing. I don't even know if we have those in North Carolina. So once you get to the 100% commission, all you'll pay after you've capped out is $250 to EXP when you sell that $1.8 million listing. And then after you do that 10 times for that amount of money, or 20 times if you're dealing with $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 homes, then you become Icon. And then that actually, you're getting 100%, you're getting that entire $16,000 back in stock, and you're only paying $75 per transaction from that point forward. So it doesn't matter if you're selling 100 houses a year, then you're only paying $75 per transaction until the next year, your anniversary date starts over. That make sense?
Yep.
All right. So that's all of the fees to the company. As you can see, we've been recognized a few times. We're at pretty much all of the Inman conferences. Glenn Sanford, our owner, is on stage at a lot of these talking. And everyone that's talking about EXP is saying that we are the Amazon of real estate. So that makes us feel really good. So I just appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate all of you online viewing this as well. And we do these really to bring awareness to real estate agents, because the reality is not many of us have that passive income stream. So and I'm just going to say when, because something's going to happen in your life where you're not going to be able to work for 6 months. And if and when that happens, what will happen? Do you have enough money saved to pay the mortgage? Are you going to lose your house? Are you going to lose your car? Like, what's going to happen? So it's very important to start on this journey now, to start building your passive income. And I don't care if you're going to build it with long-term rentals or Airbnb or the revenue share with EXP or earning the stock with EXP. I don't care. I just want you to start building your passive income now, because when that phone call happens and you don't have something coming in, you could lose everything. So don't get put in that position. And the time is now, guys, for EXP. I still feel like we're on the ground level. We've got 24,000 agents. We're going to have over 200,000 agents by the end of next year, I'm sure. I mean, it's growing. We're at 70% growth rate. especially going into all of these countries next year. It's going to be insane.
What's
So
it at right now? How many agents?
we're a little over 24,000 agents right now.
1,000 now. And it was 2,000 when you started.
It was 3,000. I was 3,010 when I started. Yes. But I believe it's a lot easier now to build this because we're established. We've been around for 10 years. We're on the New York Stock Exchange. We have some mega agents that are on board now. We've got the infrastructure. We've got an amazing onboarding system that they just put into place. I mean, there's so much this company has done that I've seen in just 2.5 years. It's amazing. It's just getting better and better. So, the agents that saw this back 2, 3, 4 years ago, they're probably kicking themselves now, but they saw a different company. They didn't see the company that we have right now. So that's something else, reaching back out to those agents that saw this a long time ago and just saying, hey, have you seen the new way that we're doing things? Because it's not what it used to be at all. So I just appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you again. I'm going to go off of Facebook Live here, and so I'm going to answer questions here in the room. So thank you guys.
Right.